It's going to be a very, very intense journey.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 113 of Frameskip, a video game podcast. Another small show this week. Austin, super busy. Seth, assumptively super busy. Coach, probably on a vision quest somewhere. I'm not really sure. But we've got old friend of the show, old member of the show, old founder of the show. We got Elijah back in Studio H this week. Elijah, thank you so much for coming back to Frameskip.
Of course. Thank you for having me on.
I did a bit of a lie to get you here. I said, hey, do you want to just talk about trophies and fantasy football? And you said yes. So it's going to be one of those episodes, everyone. Get ready. So I didn't lie. We are going to talk about those things. But first, I got like a little rant I want to go on when we talk about a game I've been playing. So let's just jump right into what we've been playing lately. Elijah, I'm an idiot.
Why?
Do you want to hear why I'm a freaking idiot?
Yes.
I got exceptionally tipsy on Friday. And I started going through the PlayStation Store. And then I bought Skyrim Anniversary Edition upgrade, and I started a new Skyrim character for PlayStation 5 because there's a new trophy list. And I think I started it too early. I think this is like a game that's better once snow is actually on the ground. It's really immersive, makes you feel like you're in the world of Skyrim. But all I can think about while I'm playing this game, it looks pretty, it runs great, everything's great. Elijah, this game came out 11 years ago.
Oh my god, it did.
Came out 11 years ago next month. And it's gotten so many remasters, right? Like it got the PlayStation 4 remaster, the Xbox One remaster. It's got this anniversary. It had a Legendary Edition. It even had like a PlayStation VR edition, which I guess is exclusive. I can't believe that hasn't come to like
that surprises me.
Oculus or anything. And like that's great. I'm glad Skyrim is so successful. I'd argue that Skyrim is probably the worst of the three most recent Elder Scrolls games. So, like, where the hell is Oblivion? Where the hell is Morrowind? I want to play those games on my fancy new consoles. I understand that they were slightly upgraded for performance for Xbox Series X. That's great. That's wonderful. I don't care about that. I see mods of Morrowind, and I want to play that game. Why hasn't that game come to consoles?
That's a really good question, because I've been wondering that myself. So, actually, not many people may know this, but Oblivion was one of the very first games I got all achievement points for.
Did that give you the itch? Is that what did it?
It did. Like, that is legitimately what got me into the achievement/trophy itch. And I loved Oblivion. It was so good. And I would gladly play it again. But I have all the achievements. Give me another reason to play it. Let me get all of the achievements and or trophies again in a new upgraded version.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And this is a little facetious in my part because, like, I've been saying for 2 years, like, I just want to get to 100 platinums. I haven't gotten a platinum since like last December. I don't think I'm like over trophies. I think I just need like a break from them. So it doesn't matter that like this isn't like a PlayStation 5 game, Oblivion. It doesn't matter that this isn't a PlayStation 5 or a Series X. Let's be realistic. That there isn't like a Series X remake for Morrowind. That part doesn't matter. It's like I need to stop lying to myself and saying that like trophies are what's holding me back. It's just goddamn, Elijah, it's so hard to like open up an old game and play an old ass game sometimes, especially one that like I don't have like sentimental attachment to. I didn't play Morrowind until I was in college. I didn't play Oblivion until after Skyrim the first time. And even then I'd never finished it, you know, like it was mostly like me watching my college roommate play and then me wanting to try it out, like waiting for Skyrim to drop, because I think they did a 5-year anniversary edition of Oblivion right before Skyrim came out, like that summer.
I think you're right.
That was like a Steelbook edition. So I checked it out there. And it was good and everything, but like it still felt like playing an old ass game, right? Like games move pretty quickly because it takes 3 years to develop them. But man, they just set so many precedents that you just don't want to go back to. Active reloading. Why don't more games have active reloading? Come on. And I want to play these games, but I just don't want to look at crappy old UI, man. Like I just don't. I just hate the way Morrowind looks on my Xbox, but I refuse to like get a PC just to play a 20-year-old game at this point with upgraded mods.
Yeah, no, and like you said, sometimes just old games are old. And some things that really help are when, say, it's you know, it may be like Elder Scrolls 4, but it's not like that, and Elder Scrolls 5 have a tightly knit story.
No.
if it were something where the stories were much more connected, like say, okay, God of War 3 and the 2018 God of War. Those stories are much more connected, so while God of War 3's gameplay is much older, it's easier to go into because the story is a major part of it.
Right.
With Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, it feels much less like Elder Scrolls 4 and much more just like Oblivion, where it's a part of the story, but it's not like by playing this you get so much more out of Skyrim or anything. It's like, I mean, sure, if you dive like super deep into it, yes, but I'm not gonna do that.
No, I'm not a nerd. I just like playing video games. There's a difference. I just want to play it on like I want them to just update stuff. Like I was watching videos earlier because I was like, should I just start a new character? Should I like really commit? Should this be the time I like actually give in and like let Oblivion take over my life? And I was watching clips earlier. There's I think a Fudge Muppet video that's just like things Skyrim players need to know before playing Oblivion. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll just pretend I've never played this game before. And then I saw like the conversation wheel or like the persuasion wheel, whatever it's called, and like it just looks like dog crap, man. Like I just can't go into that. And I think Skyrim did a huge disservice by like kind of making the game boring, but like made it really efficient. Like the menu system is, I think, really, really good if really like like without personality, right? Like it's just you press circle or you press B, whatever it is, whatever controller you're playing with, and then you just have like arrows that you can like different compartments you can move to with the D-pad, and like that's pretty much it, right? Like that's the menu system, and it looks like you're opening up a book in Oblivion, which in theory is really cool, but like it's in a crappy like Sanskrit font, like papyrus, right? Like that's what it's called, like that crappy font, like the Avatar font. And it's like, okay, this is like really hard to read. If I'm on my couch, I have to like lean forward and squint, which is, I need glasses. That's like a different problem, but still, that could be cleaner. And it's just like, okay, let's put light brown font on top of like a beige piece of paper. I'm like, well, that's just really hard to read, man. Like you got to do better than that. Yeah. And all the sliders, like they basically just like took a PC game and then did their best to make it work on console. And it's been 11 years, man. And like, I'm sorry, but like you guys haven't really done anything. Like Fallout 4 was just Fallout 3 with less bad in it, right? Like it just like ran more consistently and had like, again, I'd argue a more boring art direction.
Oh, I agree.
Prettier art direction, I guess, but like way, way more boring, especially like when you compare it to something like New Vegas. And it's just like these games are taking longer, but like they're technically getting worse while they're getting better. Really confusing, but we've talked about that on the show before, and I stand by it. And like, man, I just like I don't want them to change anything in Oblivion. I don't want them to change anything in Morrowind. I just want them to like make it work in 2022.
Yeah, like. Okay, I shouldn't say I don't want them to change anything, but just make it a little closer to newer gameplay standards.
Mm-hmm.
Just make some quality of life improvements that need to be done.
Also, like Bethesda needs to be embarrassed. I'm sorry, I've fallen down like an Elder Scrolls shaped rabbit hole this past week, and like I can't believe all we've gotten for Elder Scrolls 6 was like that teaser trailer. And like a mention during like a new game announcement. And like, I'm sure whatever their new game is, it's not
Starfield.
Starfield, thank you.
I legitimately forgot it was coming out until this very moment.
Yeah, it's supposed to be out in like a month. And I can't believe they fumbled that and pushed it to next year. Like, I'm sure that game is going to be enjoyable at the very least, right? Like, I think Bethesda's floor is really high.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just like looking at that game and I'm wondering, I'm like, okay, so like that's why we've gotten one Fallout game from them since, you know, like since Skyrim. And I know they contributed, like they became more of like a production role, right? With like Arcane Games and ZeniMax Studios, like helping out with Elder Scrolls Online. And that's supposed to be like your Elder Scrolls fix. I don't want to play an MMO. Like I want to play the game that you like made me fall in love with. And it's just bizarre to me that like, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in like what 2013 on PS3 and 360.
Yes, that sounds
And we've
right.
and we've gotten Red Dead Redemption 2 since then, right?
Yeah.
Like it's embarrassing they keep releasing Grand Theft Auto 5 on like everything, but like whatever. They gave us another game. It wasn't everyone's favorite game, but like they gave us like a whole ass other game that also like pushed boundaries in a way that Fallout 4 did not push boundaries. Fallout 4 was like
Agreed.
a mea culpa, like them admitting how much they dropped the ball with Fallout 3. And it's just bizarre to me that like they haven't done anything or anything more interesting than just figuring out what platform they can put Skyrim on next.
I do enjoy playing Skyrim on my Alexa, I'm not gonna lie.
That's honestly that's the most interesting version of Skyrim,
You're not wrong.
because like that really feels like you're just talking to a DM. Like that's really cool. But like I'm supposed to sit here as like an Elder Scrolls fan and like pat them on the back for releasing Blades, kind of, right? Like it works, but like melted phones it came on at first and just ate up batteries. Like I'm supposed to sit here and think that like they're doing like a great job and like they're awesome at management. Like I can't do that, and I feel bad because I try to be positive, but man, they're really just like pushing me to the limit. Starfield better be amazing.
I like it's not really a game I'm going into, but I really do want it to succeed. I just, like you said, and I'm so happy you use a fancy football term, they have a high floor.
Yeah.
But I really don't see them having a high ceiling.
No, you know what game had the highest ceiling was probably Oblivion. Like,
yeah,
right.
That because actually the highest ceiling was probably Morrowind because of it being such a change up from the conventional Elder Scrolls gameplay system.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it really started to soar, and it probably had such a low floor at that point because it was like this is a whole new thing, and it got so popular that that's what made it have this high floor.
You're not going to be on the show next week, I don't think. That said, I have time to get into one game. Which one do you want to hear a little report card on? Oblivion or Morrowind for next week?
Oblivion.
All right, I'm jumping in. I'm gonna talk to Patrick Stewart again and just try to find my way in the world. I'm gonna be that jerk who turns off like the auto leveling or whatever it's called when the enemies match your level.
Oh, okay. Level scaling.
Level scaling, yeah. Bro, that is not why I play fantasy games.
I did not know that game had level scaling.
Yeah, wherever you are, they're the same level as you. So, like, nope, that's not how I want to play that game. So I'll be turning that off. Huh. But that's pretty much all I've been playing, man. Thank you for letting me go on that little rant. I'm sorry, I didn't ask you to put your shoes on before we went for that walk.
Hey, it's okay. My feet enjoyed the walk.
Okay, and you've been playing something too that you're excited about.
Yes, there are two things I've been playing that I'm super excited about. One of them just released recently, Valkyrie Elysium, the new Square Enix game.
Oh man, yeah, you had a bit of a drama tour to get this game, didn't you?
Apparently places are having trouble getting physical copies of this. And I actually found an article saying that GameStop's just having trouble getting physical copies of games in general.
Oh.
But so I ended up getting the digital deluxe version off PSN. So at the end of December, I'll have the remaster of the PSP game, which is a remaster of the PS1 game. Science.
Okay.
If
you can remaster a PS1 game, you can remaster an Xbox game from 2002. Come on.
The PS1 one is the original one, and this is an actual sequel. Every other one that came out was a like prequel.
Okay.
But this one is a sequel, but it's far in the future or something like that. I don't know. But it's a really fun game, and I come out of that. I had no idea going in that it was like Norse themed. Mm-hmm. I mean, thinking of the name Valkyrie Elysium, but you play as a Valkyrie who's like doing work for Odin, and the combat is so incredibly satisfying where I will come out of a fight feeling like, could have done a lot better. Or I'll come out with my power level over 9,000 and just raving excitedly.
Is that like a literal over 9,000 or is that a reference?
That's a reference.
Okay. I don't know how this game works. I wasn't sure if that was like actually like, oh, they didn't do S ranking. Oh, they did numbers. Okay. Interesting.
So, I mean, they did do S ranking, and we'll talk about that later. Hint, hint. But you don't have a conventional party. What you have is it's you, and you have like summon fighters that help you, that they're like dead, but they're like, they pledge themselves to help you. And each one has an element. So where I'm at in the game, I have one that's electric, one that's ice, and one that's holy. And you can summon 2 at a time, and they will fight with you. And you can choose of the ones that like you have out. Say I summon the electric one first, and then the holy one, and I have those 2 out. My weapon will have holy element added to it. But if I want, I can just select the lightning one, and I'll have lightning element equipped to my weapon. And there are different weapons you can equip at any time. Creatures and enemies will have different weapon types that they're weak to, elements that they're weak to. So you do more damage by equipping a weapon they're weak to and an element that they're weak to. And it's like extra damage to them.
Gotcha.
It's such a satisfying combat flow that really has me hooked on a JRPG in ways that I haven't been in quite a while.
See, I can appreciate that. Like there are some Final Fantasy games where it feels like it just makes it like complicated just to show how impressive their combat system is. Or like I love. Do I love it? Do I love it? No, I'm not going to say that. Never mind. But like something like Pokemon just like makes it super simple, right? It's like, oh, I got like an electric rat and that's like a jellyfish. Like I know how this is going to go. So the fact that it is so straightforward makes it easier to get into, which then lets you focus on other things.
Yeah, exactly. The other game that I have been getting into is, back in the day, I tried Bayonetta on PS3.
Yikes.
And I shouldn't even say back in the day. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm like, this game's not that great. I don't get why people like it. But everyone kept raving about it. So I ended up getting the PS4 Vanquish Bayonetta remaster bundle. And a new Bayonetta 3 was coming out. So a couple weeks ago, I'm like, you know what? It's time. Let me give Bayonetta another try. I fell in love with that game. It was so good.
Yeah.
That I instantly ordered Bayonetta 2.
Oh.
Which is apparently really hard to come by, and it never dropped in price. It's still $60 if you can find it for that.
The Switch version?
Yeah.
Nice.
And that game, I'm on chapter 4 right now of Bayonetta 2. That game has possibly the second most satisfying combat I have ever felt in a game. Second only to Devil May Cry 5.
I was going to say Mortal Kombat 2. So if we were doing like, if this were the end of the year and you were on the award show, would this be like the best game you played this year from not this year?
No, but it would be close.
Okay.
Only because there's a game that I played earlier this year that surprised me in so many ways, Tormented Souls. And that's from last year.
Gotcha.
But it would probably be second right now if I had to guess.
All right.
I absolutely fell in love with this game. Bayonetta 3 comes out the day I go to New York City for a weekend. And I have it on pre-order at GameStop, but if they don't get it in, I'm canceling my pre-order and I'm going to go to every store in the area to find a copy. That way I can take it with me to the city and play it in the hotel room, because I am playing Bayonetta 3 right when it comes out.
I hear ya, and I don't mean to sound like I'm yucking your yum, but if you're in New York City for the weekend, like, live it up in New York City, man. You know the bars there close at 4? Like, come on.
I don't go to bars, and my hotel is in New Jersey. So when I get back, especially after a day of walking around the city,
Yeah, your dog's gonna be barking.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back and be like, well, I'm gonna lay in bed and die.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you go to my friend Michael's favorite pizza place in New York City? I believe it's called Sabara's.
You mean Michael Scott's favorite pizza place? Yes.
Yeah, we're close.
Yes. Good old Mike.
That's low key like one of the funniest jokes on that entire show.
I have Peacock now, so I've been watching the Superfan episodes. I'm falling in love with that show all over again.
Oh, look at us! Look at us now.
But yeah, Bayonetta. I did a hardcore 180 from I don't get why people like this to I freaking love this series.
Did you like retroactively get mad at yourself for not diving into it sooner?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You could have had more time.
I picked up the physical copy of the first Bayonetta that just came out on Switch. Even.
Okay.
It's staying sealed.
This is a safe space, right? Like we're buddies.
Yeah.
Right? Dude, I gotta be honest, like, so games are cool. I like games. Don't get me wrong. I'm like averaging like 5 Gundam model kits a week now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like they're all HG kits, so like they're pretty easy to bang out. I built a master grade on Sunday, and that was kind of a terrible experience. The parts are so small. Like I actually like lost one because it like fell out and it was so small, and I got like a shag carpet, so it's just I'm never gonna find it again. I assume the dogs ate it.
Probably.
But man, averaging like 5 of those a week feels really good. It feels good.
I've got like 9 Zoids here I still need to build, and I have like 3 next month, 1 this month, 2 or 3 in December, and I pre-ordered 2 more today.
Nice. I'm super proud of myself. Newtype.us, that's like the website I use to like order all these Gundam models. And they had a huge restock today, and I didn't buy anything from the restock. I'm oddly proud of myself for holding firm, because there was like 5 that I'm like, oh yeah, I want those. I'm like, no, dude, you got so many. I got a stack of like probably 12 or 15 unbuilt ones. I'm like, no, I should focus on those first.
In your defense,
yeah, if I'm building 5 a week, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm kind of on your side now, not just with Zoids, but I want to find, and not even find, but like order whatever, like literally all of the Gundams, not even just Gundams, but like all of the kits from this new series.
Oh, dude, Witcher Mercury. Yeah, new Gundam show premiered last week in Japan, and it's simulcasting on Crunchyroll. I resubscribed to Crunchyroll. And when I say resubscribed, I mean I subscribed for 1 month just to try to find a show. I'm like, there's got to be something I like. And I was like, I'm just not a sub guy. And then if it turns out this is the only way I can watch Witcher Mercury, then I guess I got to be a sub guy. First episode was great.
It was so good.
It was so gay. I loved it so much.
Yeah, same. We've never really seen a Gundam series like this, and I'm glad we are.
Yeah, the other ones were like coded gay, like quietly gay, right? Like Gundam Wing, kind of a gay show. Like, let's be honest, it was just a boy band, right? Yeah. It was a boy band who wanted to spend more time with each other than like the women who were obviously interested in them. Like, come on, we know what that means. And then this one is just like forthrightly gay. It's like, oh, sick. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm into this. And the mech design is awesome.
Oh my god, the main Gundam is, I'm in love with it. Yeah, it's so good.
It looks really good. I'm excited, man. Can't wait for Sunday for multiple reasons. You got football, you got Rick and Morty, and you got Witcher Mercury. It's going to be a great Sunday.
I actually had no idea what day the new episode came out, so thank you.
Yeah. It's weird, too. Like, not really spoilers, but like, man, what a tonal shift from the prologue to the first episode.
It's so different.
Right? The first episode is like, let's see how many war crimes we can commit in a 19-minute span. And then this was like, let's tell a story of 2 women who are falling in love at the speed of light. It's like, okay,
that's cool.
Like, this isn't what I was expecting. Cool. Well, they made it seem like it was going to be like, okay, like we've taken on a whole bunch of stuff in previous shows. Let's talk about like the nature of capitalism and how that's actually ruining the world. And that was like what the prologue was.
Yep.
And these horrible atrocities that were committed in the name of profit and sound business. And then geez Louise, the first episode is such a departure. It's so good.
We're going to school. We disagree. Let's have a Gundam fight to find out who's right.
Let's eat tomatoes very sensually.
Yes.
God, so good. Well, that's pretty much all I've got on my plate for what I've been playing and what I've been up to this past week. How about you? Any other nuggets to add before we move on?
That's really it. I finally played as Pinhead in Dead by Daylight, and he's one of my favorite characters to play as now, and I literally played one round with him.
Does he summon other Cenobites?
No, but his special thing is you can like teleport your chain, and then the chain comes out and you like direction it, kind of like imagine Scorpion's get over here thing.
Mm-hmm.
To which point I actually was saying get over here every time I like managed to hook somebody, and it like keeps them there for a moment. They have to like get themselves free as you're getting closer to them and such. It's so good. I love it.
That makes sense. That show was there. That movie series was like all about weird bondage and BDSM. So that checks out.
Literally,
That's the special.
I'm gonna hopefully watch the first one soon. I've never
the
seen
first one, or like they just released a new one to Hulu too.
The first one.
The first one. Okay, Clive Barker. Yeah, buddy. So wait, this episode comes out Friday. You're streaming Friday, right?
Yes, I am.
Oh, do you know what game you're streaming on Friday?
It's going to be one of two things. I'm either going to play the Romancelvania demo from Steam Next Fest. It is imagine a Metroidvania game, but you're a really lonely Dracula who's going on a dating show.
Okay.
It's made by the team that made Perception, the Deep End games, and I love their stuff, and I'm so excited. I'll put it out there. I backed this game on Kickstarter, so I've been getting updates and such. It looks great. Like, one of the characters is literally a woman who's like made out of pumpkin and such. Her name is P.S.E.L.L.E. PSL.
Okay.
Pumpkin spice latte.
Got it. So it's a dating sim?
No, it is a Metroidvania.
Okay.
It's all about Drac who's going on a dating show.
Okay, because there was that one, I think his name was Brian David Gilbert. Like, he worked at Polygon, and then he did like one really in-depth video ranking the minions of Castlevania by hotness. And so I just assumed this game was inspired by that YouTube video, which is great. You should check it out if you haven't seen it.
That actually makes me, I want to play the Dead by Daylight dating sim.
Okay, all right. So that's option one. What's option two?
Option two, continuing Rule of Rose, the old super rare PS2 horror game that was banned in the UK, and it is one of the few examples of it was a second party PlayStation game. Like, PlayStation published it in Japan, but didn't want to publish it over here, so Atlas did.
Gotcha. I'm proud of you for playing it. I was afraid it would be like a person who spends like a lot of money on a Ferrari but never drives it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely want to play this game. The other option is I started Clive Barker's Jericho.
How is it?
I like it. It's pretty bad, but I enjoy it.
Well, that was like, I mean, you were talking about like Bayonetta, and like I immediately flashed back to being in college and like my roommate and I going down to GameStop to like grab that game, it running like crap on PS3, and then we went back down to GameStop. It was like a 2-mile walk, like in Vermont in the winter. So we like really wanted to play it.
Uphill both
We
ways.
like bought it used, and then went down and returned it for the 360 version. And then I just watched him play that while I was like doing homework, and then I jumped onto my Wii. Warrior Land Shake It, that game doesn't beat itself, so okay, gotta get into it.
It's not going to shake itself.
No, it's not. But like Clive Barker's Jericho, that was always like, I'm always so close to buying games that are like under $10 because like I don't care how bad a game is. Like, how many thousands of people worked on it? How long do they work on it? It's like, you're telling me that's not worth $10? Like, come on.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. It's like, if I see a game under $10, I'm like, I'm probably gonna get this.
Yeah. I talked about it. That's how I got Strange Brigade.
Yeah, true.
And like, man, that game's awesome. You're gonna love that game after we get the Plaid and Zombie Army 4. You're gonna want to play Strange Brigade.
God, I love Zombie Army 4.
Just say the word, baby. We'll be there. It's technically a spooky game, so it fits in for Halloween streams. So keep that in mind.
Ooh.
All right, let's move on to games that have like respectable platinums. Or at least that was what I did. Elijah and we both love trophies. I haven't loved trophies that much this year, but I'm going through some stuff. I currently have so much anxiety in my chest, it feels like an alien's about to explode out of it. And it's really cool having anxiety and heartburn because you feel like you're just about to have a heart attack. And so what I do in that situation is I either build a Gundam model or I play a video game to distract me, because going for trophies, it's very therapeutic, I guess, to just sit there and like shut your brain off and just go for a goal. It's really nice. So I got 5 games here that I plan to use to distract me from having a panic attack in the next 10 days. Elijah, what were your stipulations for 5 games?
Basically, I wanted to find games that the trophies may be time consuming, but aren't going to make you throw a controller.
Gotcha. It's more or less the same thing, right?
Yeah. Like some of mine are very time consuming, but it's more of just play the game a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, shoot, you're our guest. Kick us off, Elijah.
So I'll actually start with the game I talked about earlier, Valkyrie Elysium. I was getting the trophies, and some of them I was looking at the trophy guide, and I'm like, or looking at the trophy list, I'm like, how's this going to be? One of them is to get S rank on every chapter. You can replay the chapters at any time. You don't have to like do it all in a new game or anything like that. You can. There's also 4 endings, and like the one thing is to get all 4 endings. You can do that super easy, all in the same playthrough.
Oh, okay.
Basically, it's chapter 9. There's 9 chapters in it. Chapter 9 at the beginning, you're gonna make like one of 4 choices, basically, and you can just keep doing that.
Just save scum.
Yeah. No, I don't even know if you have to save scum, but like I guess you can just go back and replay the chapters.
Okay.
Like once it's all said and done, you can just replay chapter 9. Like you just go to I'm going to go somewhere, and then it brings up like the chapter list and chapter 9. Click. And you can watch all the endings.
Hell
the
yeah.
only thing you have to do is replay the game on hard, but that's it.
All right, very cool. First game I'm going to talk about, Warhammer Chaos Bane. I've talked about this a bunch. I mentioned it last week on our episode with Fabio, where we talk about good co-op games. This is like the Diablo clone set in like the Warhammer fantasy. They changed the name to like Warhammer, like Lightbringer or something, to like distinguish it further from 40K. But this is just like Diablo. It's all about like how many enemies can you get on screen at once and how quickly can you mow them down. In this game, really, really like rewarding level up system where you can level up your abilities and whatnot, but then there's also just like a character tree that you level up as well that gives you like permanent stat bonuses, and it's just it's so satisfying just like watching those numbers go up, man. And you can burn through the game pretty quickly. I think it's probably like a 25-hour platinum, maybe like a 20-hour platinum, but super fun, super enjoyable. And yeah, I really, really dig this game and can't recommend it enough if you're just looking for some more 44 trophies to add to your account.
I am curious to try out some of those Warhammer games.
I haven't played a bad one yet. Like Warhammer Vermintide is super fun. That's just like fantasy Left 4 Dead. Warhammer Chaos Bane is just Diablo. I was playing one 40K game that's pretty good. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, off the top of my head. What is it called? Warhammer 40K Inquisitor Martyr. And that one is basically like a cross between like Diablo and like Warcraft 3. Like, remember how you could like get like hero characters?
Yeah.
And it was like kind of an RTS style combat, but then like that was like basically like an action RPG. Like it's kind of like that. Like it feels more point and click than Warhammer Chaos Bane is. So like I don't want to call it like another Diablo clone, but but like those games are always like under $10 on a sale, so I recommend all those.
I think number of them are under $10 on sale right now.
That feels right, Elijah. Not gonna lie to you. That's how I found them, at the bottom of the barrel, and I've loved every second with them. What's your next game?
So I'll go with one that I mentioned that's gonna take a long time, but it's rather easy, and that's Final Fantasy XIV, the MMO. It'll take a while, but looking at the trophies, they're not that hard. And if you get the expansions, you can make it so much easier, because you can basically, the hardest trophy for towards getting the platinum itself would be to beat the Coil of Bahamut, but you can do it unlevel synced. And me at level 70, I think I tried it at, which is or maybe I tried at level 60, I don't remember. But like level 60 is the level cap for the expansion. I tried it unsynced as a DPS, and I got it halfway down just by myself. And if you beat it, it counts. So it's
so you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, like if you do it unlevel synced and you have the expansions, just keep playing through the game, play through the expansions, get trophies from them and such. Eventually, you can just kind of walk into the hardest trophy in the original trophy list, kind of smack it around a bit, and walk out, and you have the trophy.
Okay, all right.
So it takes a while, but it's a very easy list.
Very cool. Next up, I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This game is so much more fun with friends. I know it's hard to like organize times to play with people, but this game is great with some buddies. And basically, you just got to play through the game a bunch. Like, it takes probably like between 45 minutes to an hour to like beat the campaign. Like, I think there's 15 or 16 levels, and like all of them take less than 5 minutes to do, you know, especially your second, third time doing it. You basically got to level up each character to level 10. That's like a time consuming one. And then by the end of like, you know, doing the entire campaign, you'll get them to like level 8. So then you got to play like 1 or 2 levels afterwards. And then you got to do that to see all the endings. The hardest trophy is going to be beating the game in arcade mode without going down. That one is like legitimately hard, but you can also play it on easy and do that, I believe. So,
oh, okay.
So not that hard. The second hardest trophy is going to be defeating Shredder, like Super Shredder, at the end of the game without taking a hit. Which, like, I'm not great at pattern recognition in the game. Like, I can't, like, you know, get the cadence of like a Dark Souls boss, which is why I don't play those games. But if you're even remotely good at that, it's got to be so much easier. Like, the dude never goes like off screen. He can't like come up behind you or anything. So if you're good at Bloodborne, if you're good at Dark Souls or, you know, Neo, whatever those games are, like, and your ability to just like perceive small permutations in a character's movement, like, you're going to do great at this game. I believe in you.
Interesting. I've had my eye on it. I haven't grabbed it yet, but I've had my eye on it for a while because it looks really fun. I'm not even that big on the Ninja Turtles, but it looks really fun.
Oh man, I love the cartoon as a kid, and the movie in particular.
I saw the first movie. I don't think I saw any of the others.
I genuinely love like Turtles in Time, the third one, and everyone was just like, "That's the worst one ever." It's just like, you know, they're Ninja Turtles, but they're samurai in this movie. Make it make sense. I'm like, they're turtles who travel in time. Like, why do I have to make that part of the movie make sense? Shut up.
Yeah, I don't need to make sense at that point.
Also, I was 7. Like, sorry for checking my brain at the door on, you know, the appropriate titles for these time traveling fucking turtles. Elijah, next game.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of time traveling turtles now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Chernobylite, which is a first-person shooter, light survival, horror-ish game.
Okay.
And the trophy list is basically play through the game, do the side missions that get you the new characters, and you have the platinum. And
damn. How many hours?
I want to say it took me. Now, there was a save bug with mine, so I never actually got the platinum yet. I need to go back and do it. I literally just need the trophy for beating the game.
Okay.
But when my game broke on me, I was in the last mission, and I think I was at like 13 hours.
Oh, okay. You can bang that out in a week.
Yeah. It's really simple, but like super fun game, easy platinum. I can't recommend that one enough. I love that game.
Cool. All right, next game I got 5 Dates. This was like, I think, a student-made game in the UK.
I want to play this.
I don't know if it was like developed during COVID, because it's all about video dating and like having conversations with, I think you play as like a straight white dude.
Yep.
And you have conversations with various women who have various jobs and various situations in life. And to get the platinum, like, you just have to like either vibe or not vibe with these people. I think those were like basically the only trophies. Like, I think you get one for like, oh, you went on a date with all 5 women. That's great. But like, it's either like, man, you really got to piss this person off, or it's like, you really got to like knock it out of the park with this chick. And it was super fun. It was super cute, charming. I played it on like remote play. Like, it's like, I played it on my desktop in my office while my PlayStation 5 was running in my living room, just so my girlfriend could watch TV out there. But yeah, super easy. I think it took like 4 hours to get, maybe, for platinum, which is, pretty good.
I actually have, like, I've played a couple of their games. It's from Good Gate Media, and published by Wales. I'm a big fan of Wales Interactive, but they also did The Complex and Bloodshore.
Wait, The Complex with the chick from
Yes.
Letterkenny, right? Yeah.
Yes, that and Bloodshore, which I played somewhat recently, which is about influencer, like social media influencers and that, but in a battle royale.
Okay.
And they also did a game called Nightbook, which I have, and I have the physical copy on the way too. I have wanted to play 5 Dates for a while now.
I'm looking up right now. It took me 4 hours and 35 minutes from first to last trophy. So that's a stream game you could do.
I am curious to look. I'm terrified at how much the physical price is.
Yeah, I think I got it digitally for like $5 or less. Like, that is.
Oh yeah, it's always on sale.
That is a game that is also always on sale. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always on sale. With it being an FMV game, I really want to try and get like physical copies of all FMV games.
I know you're a big fan of those. Yeah.
And yeah. Oh, actually, not too bad. I expected more. Seeing like $42 brand new.
Okay. I mean, I feel like MSRP for that would have been like $29.99.
Yeah.
All right, so like that's not that big of a leap.
Nah.
Elijah, hit me up with your next game.
So the trophies for this next game could be cheaply attained, or at least most of them. I choose Nier Automata.
Okay.
So, first off, this game is amazing. But also, there's like 5 main routes you play through. Technically, you play through the game 3 times, but that third time, you play through it 3 times, but the last 2 times are super short to get the final trophies. There is a merchant who pops up. You can literally buy all of the trophies from the merchant with in-game currency that aren't story-based. You can't buy the story...
Like all the annoying grindy trophies.
Yes. Because someone did the math. One of the trophies would take like 450 hours to attain. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. And I just bought all the... Because I was going for trophies as I was playing it. I wasn't going to just like wait till the end. I was actually going for them. So then by the time I got to the end, I'm like, I'm just going to buy all the other ones. So I saved the game, sold everything I owned, bought some of the trophies, reloaded the game, sold everything I owned, bought some more of the trophies, reloaded, did that a couple times until I had all of them. And then it was just kind of finish the game's main story and add the platinum.
Well, crap. And it's a fun game.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game.
If it takes 450 hours to get one trophy and there's like a mechanism for them to like sell you the trophy, I feel like they did that on purpose because they knew that trophy was BS. Right? Like,
yes. Also, it's terrific because when you talk to the merchant's like, we know why you're here.
All right, Elijah, for my next game, do you think PS3 or modern consoles? What would you rather hear?
Ooh, let's do PS3.
The Saboteur So, like, if you go on my PSN profiles, it would tell you that it took me 11 years and 5 months to get this platinum. Now, that's because I started this game and then I didn't touch it for 11 years and 5 months. It took me 10 days to get every trophy in this game. This game takes place in World War II, Nazi-occupied Paris, and, like, the world is completely black and white. And then you show up as, like, this Irish mechanic who starts bringing hope back to the people of Paris by liberating different parts of the city. And you just get to kill Nazis and blow up Nazi installations the entire time. It's awesome. You just got to go around assassinating generals, taking out sniper perches, blowing up pillboxes and whatnot. This game's rad. This game's awesome. It's a little grindy. I'm not going to lie. It was 10 days. I played a lot in those 10 days. That's when
I know you did. I remember that.
I was winding down on, like, a work contract where it's just like, oh yeah, super busy like the first 6 months, and then, like, the last month it's just like we're out of projects for you to do. I'm like, yeah, I know my contract's ending. I know you're out of projects, but you're gonna pay me through the end of my freaking contract, because that's how this works. So I was playing a lot of Saboteur on company time, which was awesome. I think that's what I need to get back into trophies. Like, I just need to get paid to earn trophies more. I think that'll help me, right? That's how that works.
Yeah. I'm sure that's exactly how it works.
Yeah, but super fun open world third-person shooter made by Pandemic Studios, who did, like, Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Mercenaries and stuff, like the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 on Xbox and original Star Wars Battlefront. But yeah, super fun game. Really recommend that.
For my next one,
Your final one, right?
sure.
Okay.
We'll
We'll do bullet fire, rapid fire, honorable mentions.
Yeah, you said 5 to 10, and I came up with 10 way too easily.
Okay.
We know I love battle royale games. Well, some of them can be really stupid, like PUBG's win 10 times. But Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt, that trophy list is really simple and easy. The highest you have to get to with a class, because there are 4 classes in it. Mm-hmm. The highest you have to get to with a class is 4th.
Oh,
it's like get to 4th, and you're good. And then there's just each class has 2. I don't know. We'll say each class has 2 different characters with, like, each one has a certain skill. And then there's just for each one, there's a trophy like, use this skill this many times, block this much damage using this skill. So it's just play the game. And then the hardest, I shouldn't even say the hardest, probably the longest trophy is just like travel this distance, and it's literally the distance from, like, Prague to somewhere else, I forget. But again, it's just play the game.
All right. You like battle royales. Like, how does this one stack up to, like, PUBG or...
Honestly, this one surprises me with how much I like it, because it really sets itself apart. And it makes a good enough impression with its differences. There's, like, a lot, Apex, PUBG, the Call of Duty one that I can't think of the name off the top of my head, Warzone. They're different, but they still have an air of similarity.
Mm-hmm.
This does not feel like any of those games. Like, it has such a different feeling. There are guns and stuff in it, but also there's melee weapons, and there's like humans with different blood types that you can have up to 3 at the beginning, where you can, like, drain blood from different people to get different, like, melee does an extra 10% damage, and there's, like, 3 boosts for that. You can get up to 50% damage, and every time you kill an enemy, you can, like, add another. Now you can drain a 4th person's blood. Now you can drain a 5th person's blood, stuff like that. And it, like, does enough to set itself apart from other games.
Okay.
Yeah. fantastic trophy list.
Rad. All right, my fifth and final game. It's called Crosscode.
Oh yeah.
So this is a super fun game that I kind of stumbled into. It was on sale on the PlayStation Store, and man, this game's a lot of fun. It's a 16-bit kind of like Zelda-esque puzzles, I guess, right? And so like it even looks like a Link to the Past, but it like alternates between like a melee game and like a twin stick shooter, and it's a super weird story where like you're like an avatar from a video game that escaped from the game, and you're out in the real world and you're trying to like get plugged back into the game. And so it's like a little Metroidian that like you're constantly like relearning skills that like you used to have and upgrading your powers. But it's really pretty. It's really fun. I really recommend it. It's a lot of fun. And like the trophies are, you can get everything in like one playthrough. And like most of the trophies are like just chapter completion trophies and like boss fight trophies, and like there's one trophy for like dealing 50,000 damage in a single hit, but like that's literally like you can get that within 10 minutes on like a New Game Plus. So like it's, you know, it's one playthrough plus 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna recommend that one finally.
That's awesome. That game has been on my list of, I'm very curious about this game.
It's super fun. It's weird because it would have been like the perfect Vita game. The Vita probably couldn't have like run it the way it looks on consoles, but it would have been good on Vita, like the same way. Oh God, what's that? There was a Zelda-like game on Vita, Reverie. The way Reverie was.
Oh
good
yeah, yeah.
Reverie is my honorable mention. All right, Elijah, all you.
A couple of my honorable mentions are Cthulhu Saves Christmas. Very easy, short game. Trophies are easy. Life is Strange True Colors. Most of the trophies are straightforward. There's just a couple like find this in the in nature and you'll get the trophy for it. Scarlet Nexus, which was a little time consuming, but trophies were straightforward and I had such a blast playing it. I didn't mind the grind for the last couple trophies. Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars, which is a turn-based RPG that's played out entirely like through cards. Like literally the ground is a whole bunch of cards placed together, and like when you take a step, the cards around you flip to reveal the ground there, and then take another step and then those cards flip. It's really cool, but super easy, short. I want to say I beat the game and there was one trophy that took a while, but 20 hours all said and done without that last trophy, I think it was like 15. And my last one is Final Fantasy 15. Takes a little while, but very easy. And like the end fight, that's like the pain in the butt, just level up, and it takes a while, but it's not hard. I think all my characters were like level 65 to 68, and the fight took like 3.5 hours. But it wasn't hard. It was just time consuming.
Oh, that's so long.
But
they had to know what they were doing.
They absolutely did.
Right, like that.
But then again, if your character's levels are higher, it'll be shorter.
Okay.
I think I was on the lower end of people, fighting it. So.
Okay. Well, there you have it, listeners. There's 10 plus games for you to just go grab a platinum in at your earliest convenience. Elijah, I want to keep this to like around an hour. Maybe we'll go a little bit longer. Talk to me about fantasy football, man. How are your teams doing this year? Let's limit it. I know you're in a lot of leagues. Let's talk about like your 3 favorite leagues. Like
I was gonna
care about most.
I was gonna say they're really like maybe 4, maybe 5 tops leagues that like are I really want to do good in these leagues. I have one on ESPN that are with a bunch of friends. I'm not doing good in that one at all.
Are you like an ESPN guy, a CBS guy, a Yahoo guy?
Sleeper.
Oh, do they have an app?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I have 9 of my 10 leagues.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah, there's that one on ESPN. I'm 1 in 4, or 1 in 3. Then there's probably what I would consider my main league, which is my keeper league. You can keep 12 players a year, and you keep it where you drafted them. I traded picks away. There's a reason until 2026, I don't have a draft pick until like the 16th round. But I get to keep my main starting lineup, which is ridiculous and beautiful, where my 4 starting wide receivers are A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, and Devontae Adams.
It's a pretty solid team you got there. Yeah.
Joe Burrow is my quarterback, and my main running backs are Dalvin Cook, Josh Jacobs, and Zeke Elliott.
What round do you get Joe Burrow in? Because he was like the first overall pick.
I drafted him in the 4th.
Okay.
But like the way it works with our, I don't know if this is normal for keeper leagues, but with ours is like I drafted him in the 4th. I think I had 2 4th round picks that year. So then when it was all said and done, I could choose one of them that would stay a 4th and the next would be a 5th.
Mm-hmm.
But also I think that was the year I traded and got like 3 or 4 second round players. So basically it was all 3 of them ended up being 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round. So then my 3rd round keeper was now a 5th. My 2 4ths were now 6 and 7, so on, so on. It just everything got bumped down. That's why Joe Burrow this year is going to be an 11th round keep. He started as the 4th. AJ Brown is going to be 10th. He started as the 4th.
Man, remember the Patriots could have drafted AJ Brown and Deebo Samuel, and instead they took N'Keal Harry? That was cool, right?
Remember when the Eagles drafted Jalen Reagor literally right before Justin Jefferson?
I do remember that. I got some Eagles fans on my left. I bring that up quite a bit. Thankfully, they don't throw N'Keal Harry in my face that often. Whew.
During the Vikings-Saints game, I literally just, anytime something went wrong, I blamed Jalen Reagor, even if it was the Saints. Like something went wrong for the Saints, I blamed Reagor.
Yeah.
But I'd say the other main league I have, I don't know why I like this league so much, but it's a 32 team league with IDP.
That's too much, man.
I have 2 starting quarterbacks, and I mean, I got 1 accidentally, which was fantastic. And like, that's ridiculous for that league.
You gotta drop one of them and just pick up Bailey Zappi. That guy's the future.
Bailey Zappi is on this thing is 32 teams. Bailey Zappi was drafted because he had to be.
Okay, yeah, I'm doing the math. That actually makes sense. That's so insane. I'm in a 12-person IDP, individual defensive player league, where you have to like, it's not just offense. You also have to field like a defensive tackle, defensive ends, linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties.
In normal leagues, you'll just pick like the Dolphins defense or the Eagles defense. But in this, like, I thankfully after week 1, I picked up Kader Kohu, who's a defensive back for the Dolphins.
Yeah. I'm in 5 leagues and I'm 3-1 in all of them except for the one I care about, which I'm 1-3 in.
Of course, because you care about it.
Because I care about it. So that's like a partial keeper league where you can keep 2 players from your team from the year before. And so I kept Josh Allen because I've had him since like 2016 or 20, like whenever he entered the league is like when I picked him up like off waivers and I just like never gave him up.
I traded him in
like
3 years ago.
He runs, you know. Even when the Bills were like dog shit, it was great having him on the team.
That's fair, yeah.
And so I kept Najee Harris, which in hindsight, that was a mistake. I should have kept Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. And then I'm doing the math. So like the first 2 rounds are basically decided. So like Saquon Barkley by default became a 1st round pick, even though it's technically like a 3rd round.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the math, and like Saquon Barkley was drafted right after me in the 3rd round. So I'm just like, you're telling me I could have had Tyreek Hill, Saquon Barkley, and Josh Allen. Like that's a solid starting 3.
Absolutely
picks.
It is.
So I'm still kicking myself over that one. That one's super fun though, because I do that, like that's like all my high school friends.
That is nice.
And every week, like my best friend from high school comes over and we record like a little audio newsletter where we recap the week and we watch the first half of the game together. It's one of my favorite parts about the week. It's really nice.
And you know, you saying about you keeping Najee Harris, running backs have been so inconsistent and just not good this year. Jonathan Taylor is averaging like, I'm going to say through 4 games, he has 50 points,
Yeah, it's not
which
great.
is very bad for someone who was the like consensus very first pick in every draft this year.
Yeah, I my college league is like it's run by my friend Mike. I love him, but he's also like an idiot. So like he dropped the ball so hard on like organizing a draft that we auto drafted the Friday after kickoff. And then just like we got to fill in, like, so if you had Josh Allen, you got the points for Josh Allen, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got Jonathan Taylor in that league, and I'm just like, God, I hate this so much.
Oh no.
I hate this. I hate everything about this.
And like the real steal in this year's drafts were like later running backs. Like
later running backs and later receivers. Like I know you're gonna say your boyfriend Josh Jacobs.
Well, not just that, but Dameon Pierce.
Dameon Pierce for sure. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yes, absolutely.
Like that dude's like
James Robinson. Runner. James Robinson, who was coming off the Achilles, and people were like, "Oh, it doesn't matter because Travis Etienne is the starting running back now." And they were drafting Etienne in like the 4th round, and James Robinson was like a 10th round. I guess I'll take him.
Yeah. Yeah, I picked him up off waivers 2 weeks ago, so I'm pretty happy.
Absolutely. I look at that Eagles game as a like just a blip.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you guys are like the number 1 or number 2 defense in the league, like behind the Bills, just by points allowed. So like, yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I really thought Najee Harris would have been better because I'm like, oh well, like Ben Roethlisberger can't throw at all. Mitch Trubisky's not good, but having a quarterback who can run should like free up defenders to like open lanes for him, or he could just like dump off to him with like wheel route after wheel route. Because like Mitch Trubisky, not a great quarterback, but I assume he could pass the ball 8 yards into the backfield or like do a handoff. I trusted him to do that, and apparently that was too much. Also, like the Liz Frank fracture or whatever he's got. Like,
yes, but also like it's not that he can't do it. It's just that offensive line is not giving him time. Yeah. Like somewhere, Ben Roethlisberger is just sitting at home watching the games with ice on his shoulders, laughing.
Yeah, and he's like, I could do better than this turd.
So like, it's not that Najee Harris is bad. It's that the offensive line is so bad that it makes him look bad.
We talk about this all the time about how we're going to do like, fantasy game critic. To bring it back to video games to close us out, is there anything you'd want to take from fantasy football and see applied in other games? Like, I think the real-time player updates is like such an interesting idea. I'm wondering how that could work in some other capacity, right? Where it's like, like the way Splatoon does their Splatfest, where it's like voting or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I almost want to draft like, okay, like with these formats and on this level, like I think shotguns are gonna have the most kills, and like you like draft like a gun in Call of Duty to like perform that week. Like I don't know if I would be involved in that, but like if that was like a news article on a website, like I'd click it. It's an
interesting idea, yeah. And like as crazy as it sounds, and I don't think Madden does this, a fantasy football game where it takes like the Madden stats or whatever, and you draft like fantasy football, and then sit back and let the games play out. And then at the end, it like tallies up your points, and like, it takes into account Jonathan Taylor is probably like a 99 or whatever in that game. But like it takes that into account.
Yeah, and then I get 1987 Jerry Rice from my Ultimate Team. God, feel pretty good about that. 2007 Randy Moss.
I had a 99 overall Tom Brady in Madden a couple years ago in my mutt, and it literally made my team unstoppable.
That's right.
I actually have a platinum in a Madden game.
I'm trying so hard. I need to like schedule timeout where it's like I have so many interests and hobbies that like I actively need to schedule stuff out. Like I was going to say like, hey George, Sunday is like your Vita day or your 3DS. Like you're only going to play Vita and 3DS while football's playing. Like, thankfully, the Patriots aren't very good, so I can like kind of do stuff during the game.
I
But
mean,
like,
not
do that.
very good, but they almost beat Aaron Rodgers. Bailey Zappi almost beat Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, but I also think that Packers team is like shit. So
Yeah,
like,
they're
I
not
don't.
good.
So like, I don't.
They're not good
I'm not
at
gonna
all.
like take that. Like, that was like a really exciting game. I can't believe we went to overtime when like the Packers were favored by 9. I think like going in, and that was like before Zappy. Like, I want to see what like, the halftime, like after Hoyer got concussed or whatever. I want to see like what the line fell to, because it's probably more than 9.
I think it was Adam Schefter tweeted out the game everybody's been waiting or the game everybody thought was going to happen. The overtime battle between Aaron Rodgers and Bailey Zappi.
It's so good.
Oh man.
I think more games should take more from this idea. That was like the one thing that always kind of confused me. And like, I don't think this is why the Vita failed, but like there were so many mobile games that like would work on your phone that would like feed into like your battle readiness in Mass Effect 3. Like, you could have like strike teams. I think there was even like a third person shooter, like a cover based shooter that came to like, I remember playing that on like my iPhone 4 when Mass Effect 3 launched.
You might be right.
Like, I never understood why like those games weren't on Vita, and like further, like I just kind of want to see like more interesting explorations, like the way we were talking about like Skyrim Alexa earlier. I'm like, okay, like let's really play with the space. Let's get a little weird. Let's get a little wild. Everything feels like too conservative in design now, and it's just like it's just like Marvel movies, right? It's like AAA games where it's just like, oh, we actually only want to make like the biggest gambles on the safest bets. It's like, okay, but like, weren't things more fun when it was weird? Like, would Earthworm Jim, could that game ever exist today if it wasn't just like some indie darling on like Itch.io that just like managed to explode out from that? Like, it's amazing that Hollow Knight became what it was, but like, I don't think Hollow Knight is possible today the way it was 4 or 5 years ago when that game
Absolutely
came out.
not.
Right?
I mean,
it's just like the window is getting more closed every year, and it sucks. Like, shouldn't it be more open every year? God,
you would think. I mean, perfect example. Look at the big news report coming out of PlayStation right now. Remake/remastering Horizon Zero Dawn. It's like, okay, but why has every PlayStation game, except for like one for the past 6 years, been a third-person action adventure game? Why is there no more creativity there?
we were talking about that in like a group chat with like you, me, and Austin, and like is like I'm so like retroactively mad at The Last of Us, because that game was so beloved and so successful that like it made Sony feel like, okay, this is how you make a successful video game, is doing it like this. And then every game has followed suit since. And like, I'm glad that game exists, but I wish that weren't the template for every game to exist afterwards. Like, those are two different things, you know?
I mean, like, all those, that's why I'm not into PlayStation first party games right now. Like, God of War comes out next month. I was going to get Skull and Bones the day before God of War and just not get God of War. Because Skull and Bones is different. And I love that. And, like, Evil West comes out next month. I'm so excited for that. We literally haven't seen a game like that since Dark Watch on the PlayStation 2 and original Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that.
And like, I'm playing Oblivion this week. No, I'm not. I'm playing Morrowind. Which one am I playing? I'm playing Oblivion. And I'm playing Oblivion this week. There hasn't been a game like that in over 12 years.
Such a...
just remaster Oblivion, remaster Morrowind. Also, like, update Oblivion to have trophies. Like, it just feels petty at this point. Jesus.
No, I mean,
get your act together.
I look at this month, I mean, 2 weeks from now. Oh my god, 2 weeks from now. A Plague Tale Requiem comes out. Right now, gaming the way it is, I don't think a Plague Tale Innocence would be able to exist.
Yeah, like, it wouldn't exist without the first one, right? Like, and the first one could not exist today. And it's just like, okay, well, like, it's, I think we talked about this too in our group chat. We should really just group chat publicly from now on. It'd be kind of interesting. But like,
just talk about uncensored boobs all the time,
all day long. But like, And I just the way like they're like really going after remakes in movies specifically. I'm like, okay, but like if a majority of the movies today are remakes, what movies are we going to remake in 20 years? You know, like the way we're like
Yep.
going back to like the nostalgia well for the 90s. It's like, okay, but like then we can do some movies from the 2000s, but then like after 2010, like what did you say that like like the Mockingbird trilogy? I'm like, oh crap, you're right. Like the Hunger Games.
Oh, the Hunger Games?
And it's like, ah, crap, that is going to be what people are nostalgia for 20 years from now, isn't it? It's like,
Absolutely.
also, Martin Scorsese was right. Marvel is like despicable. Like,
Yeah.
congratulations, you made 2-hour-long commercials for your goddamn amusement park. That's not a movie.
Yeah.
Goodfellas was a movie. Casino was a movie. All right, I think I'm getting a little too old man yells at cloudy. I'm ready to shut this ship down.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. I said ship, Austin. Don't get upset. I swore, but that was not one of the swears. Elijah, people can find you on Twitch at Loco Lizardman. They can find you on Twitter at Loco Lizardman. Be nice to Elijah, or else I'll beat you up. That's a promise. You can follow Austin on Twitter at Austin J. Eller. You can follow Coach throughout Texas. He's probably biking somewhere right now. You can
I like
follow
the idea of somebody literally just following Coach.
just literally following him. Yeah, it's like those old videos like making fun of Facebook, like poke, and there's actually someone poking. So. You can find Seth on Twitter at Seth the 90s Kid. Don't follow him though. You can find me on Twitter at PurpleBird616. It is also where I host my comic book show, which I've been neglecting recently, but got a new episode coming out the same day you're hearing this. So if you want to hear three grown men talk about a Wolverine comic that came out 19 years ago, boy, do I have great news for you. That one was really cool. That was another podcast reached out, and so I got to do like a crossover episode with the last comic shop. That was super exciting. Elijah, any closing words for our listeners at home?
No, just be kind to each other.
Yeah, be kind to everyone. Just don't be a dick. Like I'm sick of it. Like everyone is so concerned with like being right or calling something the way they see it. It's great. Just you don't have to be an asshole about it.
Yeah.
Like just treat people like they're actual people. I'm so sick of this. Just be nice. It is so much harder to be mean than it is to be nice. Just be nice. That's all I got.
That's okay. Right now, I'm just watching the substitute teacher skit in my mind. We got D-Nice here.
D-Nice.
Denise. What is Denise?
Where is AA Ron?
We got Blake. My name's Blake. Blake.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
I'm not going to edit this podcast. I'm just going to put our two things together and tell Austin I edited it. So I'll know if Austin went through and listened if he cut this part out.
Terrific.
See you next week, gamers.
Joke's on you, George. I heard everything.